Welcome to the Celebrating Women podcast, co-hosted by Mandee Montana and Ashley Fisher, a podcast that celebrates women, their issues, their thoughts, their lives, conversations that celebrate their gifts, their talents, their courage. It's the Celebrating Women podcast. Presented by Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, Texas. Hey, it's Mandee Montana, and you know I love to relax, right? I've shared the secret of where I go and some of my favorite treatments. Now I want to spotlight something else for you. The incredible staff at Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler. This month I want to tell you about Kim. If silence makes you uncomfortable, go with Kim because she is delightful to talk to, friendly, and applies just the right amount of pressure to make sure you relax those knots. With Kim, I chose the Tyler Special. What is that? Well, it's a wonderful combination of opposing pressure. You get the negative pressure with the gentle slide of the cups and the positive pressure of her hands. When applied together, they offer deep relief and detox. The Tyler Special also includes my favorite add-on, the Himalayan salt stones. They exfoliate the skin and make it glow. Ask for the Tyler Special when you schedule your next massage. Visit Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa located in the Cumberland Shopping Center or online at handandstonetyler.com.
Welcome back to the Celebrating Women podcast. I'm Ashley Fisher.
I'm Mandee Montana, and today we have a very special guest, Sami Harrington.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So I've known Sami for years. Is Sami okay? Samantha, Sam, how do you want to be introduced now that I've done it?
Honestly, I don't think I really know what people call me because it's
You respond to it all.
everything.
Yeah.
Like Sam, Samantha, Mandee, and the people who call me Sam and the people who call me Sami, they're like at war with each other. What? They're like, her name is Sam, her name is Sami.
I've just always called you Sami. I don't know. It's how I think I was originally introduced to you.
Yeah, I usually sign my name Sami.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think
we'll stick with that.
Yeah.
it's weird when I say my name Sami though. Anytime I introduce myself, I usually say Samantha. Like my full government name.
Samantha. Okay. Well, Samantha is here with us today. And she's beautiful. I'm sure you can tell by her voice. But
My sick, sexy voice today.
I was
She
trying
got
to
her jazzy voice on today.
I was trying to remember to tell Ashley, as we were kind of settling in up here, how long it's been since I first met you. You did my nails at Belladonna years ago.
I think 11.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's maybe 2011 is when I met you. Mm-hmm. That was what I guessed whenever I told Ashley earlier. So now you have Gypsy Glow Spray Tanning.
I do.
And I see you a few times a year, sometimes several times a year, depending on my schedule and trips and things. Because I always feel more confident when I have a spray tan from you.
Oh, yeah. Like, if you can't tone it, tan it.
Amen,
I love that.
sister.
If you can't tone it,
Oh,
tan
yes.
it.
If I am at the gym, those lights and mirrors are very unforgiving. And if
They
I don't
are.
have a tan on, I'm like, I have cellulite on my arms. But when I have a spray tan on, I'm like, look at those toned arms. They look great.
I love it.
Fantastic.
I love it. Well, you always make me feel beautiful whenever I come to get a
so
spray
glad.
tan. But over the years, that's a little bit of an intimate experience. But even before that, when you were doing my nails, we got to know each other. And I think very quickly, maybe the first or second time you did my nails, I was just like, I want this person in my life.
And I'm so glad you chose me.
Oh, me
I love you.
too. Same. And so over the years, I've heard a lot about your life and I've seen you grow into a very successful businesswoman. And oftentimes I think, or sometimes early in life, we get shaped into those things. So like, were you like an A student? Were you a go-getter when you were a kid? Were you in like 4-H or like?
I am not this. Okay, so very, very, very shy growing up.
Really?
But yes, my most embarrassing moment to this day is the most ridiculous thing ever. I'll tell
Really?
you because it's so stupid. You know how like us ladies when we're getting dressed to go out in the day, which shoe we do like the flamingo thing, this one or this one. Well, my mom. She's either really on time or really running late, and I have inherited that. So she was like, oh my God, we've got to go after I just did my whole little flamingo thing.
Oh,
and I was like,
no.
okay, out the door we go.
You went with two different.
Yes. So she 4-H, FFA, literally everything you can imagine. I was in it, like on like all the council delegate things, like the president, secretary. So that I was very much outgoing. You know, I had like a script and all the things to say. But if it came to just me, I was like, no. So my mom, she was a president of one of those things. And I remember going in the office and I felt so cool being in the office. I had to go call my Mimi. I kicked my feet up on the desk and crossed them. And that's when I realized I had 2 different shoes on. And I was like, I gotta go. And I went in this room that my mom was speaking in front of tons of people. And I whispered in her ear a secret. We've got to go home. I have 2 different shoes on. And she looked down at my feet and started laughing and told everybody in there. I was like, what was the point of the whisper? Like, I didn't want the whole class to know that. Red face. I would turn red face a lot.
How old were you? Probably, estimate like
I don't know.
12 or?
Yeah, honestly, probably. And I remember I couldn't wear 2 different shoes. I had to go get my cow. I think she was getting shaved. Something. I don't remember what we were doing. But we were going somewhere for my cow after that. And I was like, I can't go to this other place with 2 different shoes on. And I wore my dad's rubber boots. I'd rather have 2 extra large shoes, matching shoes on than 2 different shoes. But now I'm like, oh my God, that was so dramatic. I should have just rocked those.
It's 12, man. I mean, those things like at 12 are horrendous.
And we never forget them.
No, you don't. You don't
No,
forget.
because everybody laughed at me. Now I would have been like, laugh away. I get it.
Like, I know, isn't that crazy?
You've probably done this too.
I know. I was about to say, like, half you ladies in here probably, somebody else probably has mismatching shoes. Let me see.
Why don't you look down? One of them's probably navy and one of them's black. Let's be honest.
It's not just me in here. Ridiculous.
Totally done it. Yeah. So, okay, that's 12. You also had some other challenges, though, in childhood.
Yeah, so little baby me. And I think this is, like, why I'm so, like body positive and stuff. Because a lot of people, obviously, looking at me, you can't tell that I'm, like, covered in scars. So, like, when, you know, people are getting naked in front of me, they're like, oh, my God, don't look at me. I'm like, first off, I ain't never seen a single person's hoo-ha or, like, nippies. It's just.
You don't pay attention. You're just spray tanning.
I'm like, that's your.
It's just skin.
That's your area. I won't invade it.
Yeah.
So I'm just, and I go so fast. I'm like literally looking at your skin. But everybody is so self-conscious as women. I remember being younger and seing magazines. I grew up on a farm, like only girl.
I was picking up on that with the cow.
Very, very, very country. There wasn't another girl for miles. Like anytime, like my parents got divorced when I was younger, and so anytime my mom would date somebody, I'd be like, do they have a daughter? Like I was like, I earned for that like sisterhood, and I never got it. It's okay. My brothers are great. I love them, but they're boys, So I just remember seeing all these magazines, and now I know they're airbrushed, but then I was like, they're perfect. And, growing up on a farm, I was outside all the time with boys, and my legs were just, like tore up with like briars and chiggers and all the things. So I remember like I was probably like 9, and I would get like Neosporin, and I would use it as like lotion on my legs.
Mosquitoes love me.
Yeah.
I would just be covered in like whelps.
I was like, I've got to have perfect legs like these ladies do. I want that. Obviously, now I know
doesn't exist.
Nothing is real. We're all battered, bruised. We all have scars. We all have, we're all self-conscious. But I had cancer when I was little, and, I've got scars on my neck, scars on my like ribs here. I've got 2 scars on my lower stomach, which one of them was so deep. It always bothered me because, growing up, we had like the Britney Spears, like the low jeans.
Oh, yeah.
I could never do that because like my scar was there, and it always, I could have.
You didn't feel comfortable.
I didn't, because my scar would like push my stomach out, and it would always look like I had like a little pudge. Like I remember this one guy when I was in high school. He was like, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, "No, you jerk. Thank you so much."
Yeah.
But then on my butt, I mean, from like cheek to cheek, just full on scar. I don't think I let anybody see my butt until probably like 3 years ago. I would like if we were like in a bathing suit or whatever, I was always like, walk backwards, like getting out of the pool was always like weird. Now I'm like, nobody cares.
Yep.
Like,
It's true.
nobody cares that you have scars or you have this or you have that, like, because we all have things that we're
And you know what's so interesting, Sami? I never knew that about you.
Yeah,
Like,
see, nobody knows about it.
I never knew you had scars. In my mind, you were one of the most beautiful women.
Thank you so much.
I mean, inside and out, though. Like, from the first time I saw you, I thought, like, this girl's pretty.
Thank you.
But it's true. Like, I never noticed those things about you. And I think it to that point, like, there's a lot of that. Like, you don't, when you love somebody or when you admire somebody, I don't think you're looking for their scars.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You see their beauty.
I mean, now that I've gotten older, it's, my butt's gotten bigger, so my scars are.
Whose hasn't?
But, I mean, growing up, I was like a string being, and it was like all the way.
Yeah. So what type of cancer did you have?
So I had a yolk sac tumor. It was between my ovaries and my rectum, and it was super, super rare. I started
When you were an infant?
I was from like 2 to 4. I had
Wow.
it. I lived at Children's. So my mom, she just started noticing like things wrong with me. And then I kind of looked like a little, like, how those Ethiopian kids look. They're really skinny with like a
Big belly?
belly. And she kept taking me to the doctor and like, something's wrong with her, something wrong. I'm like, no, she's fine. She's just a kid, whatever. And she's like, no.
Something's up.
So
Mamas know.
So they did like a CAT scan or MRI or whichever one. But once they did that, they had discovered that it had spread through my lungs, my arms, and my legs. I mean, I was like ate up with it. I had like a 30% chance to live. They rushed me to Children's either that night or the next day. And I mean, I was there for like 2 years doing all the things. I remember being there. I remember being in Children's. I don't remember any of like the bad things. I don't remember like the surgeries, but I remember all of my nurses, my doctors. I would only let this one lady draw my blood. Like she had, it was this black lady, and I loved her so much, but her nails were so long, long. And I was like, that's my girl. That is her. Nobody else is touching me. I remember like being in, like, they had 2 little like craft rooms, and I would always want to go in there. And then the first year after I got out, it was my birthday. And they were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to go to the hospital. And I want to spend it with like my nurses and like all of my, like little cancer kids. And my Mimi was like, Mandee, if you go, you're not going to get any gifts. And I was like, oh no, like I'm giving gifts to like everybody else. And so my Mimi went and she got like teddy bears and like candy and stuff. I'm probably going to cry on this part.
It's okay.
And we went to every kid that had cancer and invited them to my party. And, like, I gave them gifts instead of me getting gifts. And then it was, like, a little while later, they were like, I don't think anybody's going to come to your party. And they, like, looked down the hall and, like, all these kids, like, with their
Little IV poles.
like, we're all, like, with the nurses, like, all walking them down at once. I can see that in my head. And so that's just...
How old were you? Which birthday was that?
I was 4 then. That was like right when I got out. But and I don't know if like any of those kids are, if they made it or not or whatever. But what is kind of cool, the chemo that they did on me, because it was such a rare cancer, they started using on a couple, thank you. They started using on like other kids there. Cause I mean, they kind of used me as like a little test dummy.
Great.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be first.
Yeah, it was me. But
it worked.
As I was older, like I got curious of like what kind of cancer I had and stuff. And, what I've seen online, because I don't like a lot about it, and even when I go to the doctor and I have to give them a medical history, they're like, what did you have? And then like I'll have like multiple doctors and stuff, and they're like, you had what? And then like they'll come and like ask me questions about it. I'm like,
because it was that rare.
Yeah.
like they still don't really know about it. I mean, there's a few that have heard it, but other than that, but it's a lot like in China, and I think it happens a lot behind people's like eyes.
Interesting.
From what I saw, the one thing I saw on the internet, you know, everything on there is real.
Dr. Google.
So I don't know. I was like, maybe that's why they didn't. I don't know.
Didn't find it for so long.
I'm not a doctor or nurse or anything.
You've been in remission for 20 plus years.
Wow. Hold on. Let's see. I was 4. How old am I now? Am I 34? So about 30 years now.
Wow, Sam.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
It's amazing.
And you've lived a lot of life in those 30 years.
I have.
Growing up on a farm with brothers.
Yes.
So what was like high school like?
I don't know. Our high school, I think kind
Your
of,
small school, big school?
I think small school with like big city vibes, I guess. Like
Okay.
every surrounding town like came to our school, like Frankston, you know, Murchison, some people from Athens. There was like Chandler. Chandler only went up so far. So then afterwards, everybody came over there. Same with Murchison. It only went up so far. So we just kind of got a little bit of everybody. Everybody was like really like.
Blended?
I feel like our school was cliquey, but like also like really blended. Like everybody got along with everybody. We didn't have like, I mean, I'm sure there was the slight bullying, but how it is today, like the bullying, like we did not have that. We were like very much like, we talked to everybody in class.
That's awesome.
You can't move us anywhere without talking
We're
to
gonna
like
talk
we're
with
going to
whoever you
become
put
friends
us-
with this
Yeah,
person.
that's great.
Nice.
Right? Yeah, I sucked at math so bad.
And yet you're a businesswoman now.
Yeah, no, I wanted to be like an architect or something.
Really?
When I was a kid, I would design houses like all day long. Like my mom even got me one of those computer things, and I would literally all day long design houses and the layouts of houses. I was like, that's what I want to do. But you suck at math, so let's just let that dream go.
But I feel like you still, from the conversations that we've had, and I've seen you redo your room, your tanning room a few times now. Like you still have that desire to like do interior design. With color and beauty, and you have an eye for.
Oh yeah, I'm real bad at going to people's houses, and I'm like, I don't like that. Let's move that.
Let's move that out of here.
And honestly, my mom is to blame for that, because you know, like I grew up on a farm and I had allergies so bad, like. And we built hay, so anytime it was a hay season,
You were miserable.
Oh, it was awful. It was so bad. And so she would always rearrange the house to keep it clean so I could, you know.
Breathe.
Yeah. But I was just like, oh, this lady loves to rearrange. And I was like, I like that too. And so I would always like rearrange my room. I remember I lived with Chelsea and we lived with another girl. And I rearranged like once a week. And I remember she told Chelsea, she was like, I don't like how this is right now. And Chelsea was like, well, I don't know why you're complaining. It won't be there next week. And then one time the first date I went on with this guy, I went to Fort Worth, met this guy. We'd known each other for a long time, but I was like, okay, we're going to dinner after work. No, this man wanted to go home, shower, change, get ready. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm tired. I didn't sign up for this. So he's in there getting ready, and I'm just sitting in the living room, and I'm like looking at it like, no, this does not work. When he came out of the shower, I was moving his TV. Like his living room was completely different. And he like
Feng shui.
he was looking at me, and I was like,
Listen, you shower, I move stuff.
Yeah. You took too long, man.
You gave me too much time.
No, I didn't want to be here either. I was hungry. I wanted to go to dinner.
So I just fixed it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Oh, man.
So you wanted to be an architect. Obviously, that didn't work out.
No.
So when you graduated from high school, did you decide to go to college? Did you decide to do something different?
So
what was next?
I would always do like the drill team. I would do their makeup and stuff, and not all of them, but some of them. And I loved doing makeup. So I was like, okay, this is it. I want to do makeup. I'm going to go to cosmetology school. That's what my mom did or whatever. I want to do, nails, hair, facials. I want to go to, massage therapy. And that's what I want to do, all of it. I was like, I want to open my own med spa by whatever age. Now that I'm in Tyler, there's one on every corner, and I don't want to do that. I'm like, no, thank you. But that was kind of my goal. And then when I was there, I was like, I'm going to move to California, and I want to be a makeup artist there. Obviously, I never did that. I didn't even, the makeup ended up being one of the last things that I did. But I went to nail tech school first, and I got my license for that. I still hadn't got my license for cosmetology, and I was living back with my mom, and she was like, lady, you got to get a job. And I was like, but lady, I don't want to get a job. No, thank you. And so,
No, thanks.
yeah, so my mom got me an interview. I guess she pretended to be me. Honestly, I don't know what she did, but she drove me to Jessica's massage spa, and she was like, you have an interview. I'm going to need you to get out. That's awesome. I was like, okay.
I guess I'm going to this job interview.
Yeah, and obviously, Jessica is a gem. I love her so much. I mean, that was a blessing. I did nails there, and then Imelda was there. She did facials. Loved her. Imelda was the one who hired me, actually. She was the manager there. And then they had a little hair studio. And so I kind of just dabbled in everything. And I remember Imelda was going on vacation, and she was like, hey, while I'm gone, do you want me to teach you how to do spray tans? And I was like, okay, yeah, I would love to do that. So she got me in there, and it showed me, and either the first or second person, I had it. And she was like, oh, you're pretty good at this. And I was like, thank you.
It's kind of like applying makeup.
It is. It's like, it doesn't, didn't seem that hard. Now that I am in it, I love it. I love it so much. I don't know if she ended up doing any more spray tans after I really started.
I'll just take this over.
I've got this now, thank you.
Yeah. And then she left and went to Belladonna. And then I kind of followed her, but it literally that I was only with her for one day, and she left and went somewhere else. And I was like, ma'am, I just got here. You're leaving me. And then Jamie actually, because they had a whole different solution. They had a whole different gun, and I knew I wanted to do it there. And so I asked Jamie, I was like, how do y'all do it here? What's the things? And then I think Tiffany trained me too. I just wanted to get everything I could from everybody.
You like to learn.
Yeah, and I just kind of took everybody's skill, and I just threw it into one, and then just doing it, and as I go and learning, and I just put it that way. And then I would get really possessive. I don't know why, but possessive over spray tans. Like when I was at Belladonna, and if I wasn't doing a pedicure and they booked somebody a tan, I was like, what the hell?
Excuse me.
Why did they book it with her?
Yeah.
I don't know why. But I did. But I remember prom one year. I don't even remember what school it was, but I did 17 tans in a day at Belladonna. And this is when they took out the tanning room, and they had it downstairs in one of the little rooms. It was literally just a tent. And knowing what I know now, I didn't know to wear a mask, and
that you were inhaling things that maybe weren't necessarily good for you.
It was like I had
the
flu.
I bet.
I was so sick after, because we didn't have an extraction unit, but you didn't know then.
We didn't know.
I was like, I cannot come to work. I am not well.
I am unwell.
And so now, like, I wear like a dust mask. Like, I do not want to breathe any of it in. And some people are like, oh, is this okay to breathe in? And I'm like, I mean, one time, like, you're fine. But when you're in here with it, like,
All day.
I mean, I'm literally, like, making dust clouds on people with the diamond dust. Like,
It is a fun process. And then you've got something behind the person that you're spraying.
Yes.
Is that your extraction unit? Is that what that is?
That is my little baby. I have wanted, it's a spray gun, and I have wanted that unit for so long, but they're pricey. And I was like, no, can't do it. So when I was doing it at my home studio, I made this little...
You made that?
Okay, well, not me. I had some... I designed it.
Yeah.
But I had my boyfriend. I was like, look, this is what I want. Just put this together. And I got 2 box fans, put them in there. And then I got some filters from Home Depot and put those in there. And I would just take them and, like, spray them out. But
I told you she was creative.
That helped me a little bit. But it just wasn't enough. And so then they have what is called like the wave. And so got 2 of those, and they were too big for my little thing. So I was going to have to make another one. And I was going to like kind of model it after like the spray gun. Well, then they were just kind of sitting on the floor. I never did anything. Like, I'm not crafty. Like,
Yes,
with
you
it.
are.
No. Like when it comes to like, you know, power tools.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not crafty. Then I'm scared to lose a finger. So I'm just
I like my fingers.
yeah. So they intimidate me. So I've never just picked one up. So I just kind of had to wait at the mercy for somebody to be like, hey, can you, this is what I want. Can you do it? But then I was like, you know what? Let me just, I just got on there and they could do like the little like affirm payments or whatever. And I was like, sold. 3 payments done. And there was this one girl, she had this like really pretty like gold one, and I was like, I want that. And so I messaged him, I was like, do you have any more of this, you know, film or whatever it is? I was like, that's what I want that one. And so I was like, I did it. I just pulled the trigger. Like at that point I was doing so many tans a day. I was like, I have to do something to like protect my lungs. Like,
How many do you do a day? I mean, in a busy season.
It
I know this
really-
time's a little bit slower.
yeah. So low end, probably like 5 to 8 in like December and January. But then high end, like 18 to like 25 a day.
In a day?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to be protected.
Yes. And I feel so bad because I've got like that unit on, I've got this mask on, I've got my machine on, and then I have a little heater. And so some people, when they come in there, they're like, what are you telling me to do? And I'm like, I know.
It's a little loud.
I know. Just follow my moves. Just don't do what I say. Like, just do what I do.
Yeah. It is kind of fun. It's like walking like an Egyptian, you know that song, like the video. That's what you feel like you're doing is she's like color coding your body.
And it is an arm workout.
I bet.
Like, do you remember in like elementary school we would have to do arm circles?
Yes.
Okay, I remember those being the stupidest thing ever. I was like, why are we doing these? This is doing nothing. Now that I'm adult, like, give me all the arm circles because they was doing it. Like, sitting and getting a spray tan is a workout. And I feel so bad because I can tell when people are getting tired. They're just slowly dropping their arms.
Keep your arms
bring it back up.
for me.
Bring it back up. They're, you know, having to shake off. So most of the time I'm like, put them on your head. But even then, like, just sitting them on your head is still taking it out of you.
Yeah. So what is it like? What is Mandee and I were talking earlier about to start respective businesses and all that kind of stuff. Like, what does it mean for you to own this business, to do what you do? Because it's never really just what people would look at as like the surface level work of it. There's always, I feel like, something like deeper. Like, what is that for you?
So honestly, I like my freedom.
Yes, ma'am.
And I am a night owl. And so everybody wants a tan after work. And I can't do the 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 or anything like that. I have to have something different. I have to be able to, I can't sit. It will drive me crazy. If I'm sitting in a desk or sitting and doing like just anything where I'm having to like write or things like that, I go insane. Like I remember when I first moved to Fort Worth, I got a job and I thought this was going to be a really cool job. It was for a sports magazine and I was like, I'm so excited. And they brought me in there and they're like, you're going to call everybody and get them to
I
be.
forgot about you doing this.
I did it for one, not even a whole day. I remember, like, I was in this room, and I was like, I'm not doing well in here. And they're like,
I am not well.
I told them this, and they're like, let's move you to, like, the bullpen or whatever. Like, so it's more, like, high pace. And I was like, okay. So they moved me in there, and I'm just like, I'm still not liking this. Thank God it's lunch. Let me get the heck out of here. Well, I didn't really understand that I only have a certain amount of time for lunch and that Dallas, it takes a long time to get places. Well, the boyfriend who rearranged his house and we were dating, I moved up there for him, all the things and I went to take him lunch and I was like, you know what? I'm late. I don't really want to go back. So I remember calling my mom and I was like, Mom, I hate this. And she was like, well, and I don't know if she talked me into it or if I just think in my head that this is just what I wanted to hear. So I was like, sold, done. So she was like, well, just don't go back. I was like, okay, well, literally my purse and all the things are there. I have to go back. Yeah. And so I think I called them. I was like at lunch and I was like, yeah, this isn't it. They're like, all right, well, you don't have to come back. And I was like, well, I do. All of my things are there. That I don't know why I didn't bring my purse. I'm just not a girly girl. I hate purses. So I guess I just brought my keys and like one card and was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to go now. And then I had to do the walk of shame since they've brought me from my little hole to where everybody was. And so everybody's like, yep, goodbye. And I'm like, Stacey,
thank you. This right here. I'll be out of y'all's way in a second.
Thank you so much.
But you also did something part-time that's really cool and fun that you did for a while. With you, is it Julie?
Yes.
That was fun.
When I worked at Belladonna, then I met Taylor. And when he was living in Fort Worth, so I was going out there, and this one girl messaged me, and she was like, "Hey, would you want to go be like a hostess at this place for like $28 an hour?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So
Sign me up.
Do it.
Sign me up.
Yeah. So I went and did that, and I just remember, I loved it. Mm-hmm. Like I was like, "Okay, this is cool. I like this whole little girl gang here," and so. Every single time I would come to Fort Worth, I would call her and be like, hey, is there anything, you could do? So, like, raffles is, like, where the money was at, and I knew that's where I wanted to be. So, I just basically did grunt work and did anything. I was driving all over DFW doing, like, 1 to 3 promos a day, and those promos are usually, like, 2 or 3 hours, and it's really only like $50 at the time. Mm-hmm. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing all this. And promo stuff, you don't get paid right away. You get paid 30 days later. And so I had left Belladonna. I was up there. I was like, okay, I have no money now. I remember, because I don't ask anybody for anything, this one guy gave me like this David Bowie like $2 that he like drew on, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I was like, I'm never gonna spend it. I was so broke. I remember I had to spend it. And it's one of those like tracked dollar bills. So if you see that one, like, it's out there in the world because I let it go because I was so poor. But I was like, all right, here's $2 on pump 3. Like just to get to another job because it took so. And if I would have just asked like my boyfriend, he would have gave it to me, but that's not me. Like, I'm not going to do that. And so, finally, then when those checks started coming in, I was like, thank God. Okay, here I am. And then like the second job I ever worked for her was at a golf tournament, and it was for a raffle. And I just remember then I made $400 in one day, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. Screw screw doing nails. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
I would like text Sammy, be like, when are you going to be in town? Can you squeeze me in for a manicure? And at the time, Angela, your friend, my friend, owned the spa, and she would let Sammy come in and take one of the manicure tables and do my nails.
Yeah,
I think randomly.
I think I would come in like once a month and do like my regulars or whatever for a while, and then like. I don't know why I really stopped. I think I just got like so overwhelmed with doing all the things there. But I remember I was like, I am so sick of being pale, because I would always tan myself while I was at Belladonna and Jessica's. I was like, I'm going to have to buy a machine. I'm going to have. And so then I messaged all the girls that I work with. And I was like, hey, if I started doing like tanning parties, would y'all be interested in that? And they were like, yeah. And so that's where like it started. I would come down, do like my nail clients, and then I would have some people that would like, hey, fit me in for a tan, or I'd be like, hey, I'm down this day or I'm not down this day, and I would just do that. And I remember when I first started doing spray tans, they were $45, and then when I went on my own, I was like, that's a little pricey. Let's bump it back to $35. And I would drive like 2 hours to do a $35 spray tan. I was like, I'm getting them all. Like, you won't? Okay, bet. I will be. What time? I will be. Give me a minute. I'll be there.
Yeah. That's when you know you love something. When it doesn't even make financial sense to drive 2 hours to go do something that's going to get you $35.
Yes.
But you don't do it because you love it that much.
And I did. I just hustled the hell out of those. And then I was like, okay, well, let's name it. And I remember trying to like come up with some names or whatever. And at that point, I mean, I was like a gypsy. I was in Dallas. I was in Fort Worth. I was in Tyler. I was in Athens. I was all over the place. And so that's kind of like where Gypsy Glow came from. And then, then I kind of was full force into doing like the banquets and stuff. I wasn't doing any of the promos, and I was only doing banquets, and I was only working. It was so great because banquet season is like winter time, and then spray tans is like summertime. So it was like a really good balance. And it made me very kind of lazy though, like only having to work like, 1 to 3 days a week half the year. I was like, no, I've got all this freedom. My mom was like, you need to get a real job. And I'm like, Mom, no, I make more money than you half a year. I don't want to, I'm going to be lazy and not do anything. But she was right. I needed to get a real job because it did make me so lazy. Like, I remember some days I would come out of our apartment and I'd be like, where did I park? Like, I've been in this house for days. So I would have to walk around because there was like 2 sections and be like, nope, this ain't it. Let's go to the other side.
So when you click the lock button and you wait for the beep.
No, it was too far away. It was
walking around in La La Land, like clicking the button, trying to find your car.
Yeah, it was awful. And so when I was out there, then I got a job working at a tanning place in Midland, and I started doing like spray tans there. And then I came back to Tyler, in about 2020 is when COVID hit and all the things, and my banquet job, nobody could be together. So I was like, okay, well, I have already gone through all of my savings. What am I going to do? And I was dating a guy in Montana, and so I was staying up there. So when I came back here, I was like, okay, let's figure something out. Well, nobody could leave their house or go anywhere. So like mobile tans was like where it was at. I was like, this is great. Like, this is perfect. And so that is kind of like where like I really like put the hustle in. I barely did banquets after everything came up, and now I don't do them anymore. I do 2 a year, and that's it. And I just do this Monday through Friday. I get to be with my like nephews at their games and stuff on the weekend. Before, I mean, I was like chasing money like with banquets and stuff, and I miss people's weddings, baby showers. I'm like, sorry, you're not as important, which is so bad. But now I'm like, no, like you are important. I've had to like step back from work, and that's a good thing that I have the ability to make my own schedule, so I can be like there for people now versus,
which is, I mean, really, I think part of what drives most entrepreneurs is we want to make our own schedule. We know what it's like to be a slave to, you know, the 8 to 5 or the need to make this amount of money or whatever. And to be able to do something that you love and do it when you want to do it that's kind of what drives, it's part of what drives us,
Yeah.
you know?
Ashley and I, on our last episode, were just talking about imposter syndrome. Do you feel like you've ever encountered that?
Wait, what's that?
So, like, when you maybe I don't think you have with the spray tan at all, and maybe not even with banquets, but like where you walk into a room or where you start doubting yourself, or you feel
no.
maybe I didn't think so.
No, immediately no.
No. Like, I mean,
So where does that come from, you feel like? That just innate confidence?
I have no clue.
Yeah?
No clue. Like, like with banquets, I was like super confident with that. Like, even like
what
with
did that
spray
look
tans.
like? I mean, are you just, I'm asking because I have an idea of what I think it is. And I think it was probably a lot like what I experienced at radio remotes, where you're just interacting with people kind of casually in passing.
So
and
this was a banquet day, and
Okay.
I'm doing one on Friday. Get up early, pack my little suitcase of like my change of clothes. I literally go to a rental car place looking like I just rolled out of bed.
to a rental car place.
Yes, because I don't like to drive my own cars because then I was doing them like so much. I didn't want to put all those miles
wear and
on my
tear on
car.
it. Okay.
Like the first year that I did, I put like 60,000 miles on my car.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, I can't do that anymore. So
You are so smart. Like, it wouldn't have even occurred to me because that's a write-off. You
Yeah.
just expense the rental.
yeah. And then the Enterprise, you can do like a little, you've got like, they have a rewards program. So the more you get, the more points you get. And when you get free cards and stuff. So I would always save all those up. And when we go on vacation,
You're so smart.
I'm like, free rental. And like,
Okay, so you go to the rental car place with your little bag.
yeah, I'm like, and they're doing everything. And, you know, I'm not a morning person. So I'm like, you do your thing. I'm going to go get everything out of the car. So they're doing the walk around. I'm coming. I'm like throwing this suitcase in the car. And then, I mean, I would drive like 7 hours, like probably like 3 to 7 hours to go to a banquet. I would get up at the butt crack of dawn and go do that, work a banquet. I would get there probably like 4:15, 4:45, whatever my call time was. And I would be there till like 10 or 11. And while they're getting all their money situated before they pay me, I go change, put my pajamas back on, and I drive all the way back home. Like,
so what are you
7
doing
hours.
during the banquet? Like, what's your job?
So it's like Ducks Unlimited, NRA, like Delta Waterfowl, like just things like that. And you go and so they've got the live auction, the silent auction, they've got a dinner, and my part was the raffles. So
You dress nice, look pretty.
yeah, they give you like an outfit or like a
Parameter.
yeah. But they're like, okay, here's your raffle tickets. Normally it's like $100, $250, and a $500 pack. And then you've got like extra packs to you. So I just have to go around and say the same thing over and over again. So I'll be like, hey, like, how are you? I've got $100, $250, $500 pack. This is this, this is this, da, 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 da. And then you can also get these, you know, which one do you want? And then you'd be like, oh, wait, give me this one. And then I'd turn around and I'd say the same thing to you. I literally say the same thing so many times. Most of the time I get like a group of people. I'm like, 7 to my office. Let me tell you guys all at once. Come over here. And, but yeah, I read it like 1 or 2 times and then I've got it, and then you just got it. But you've got to be super quick because they only give you like a certain amount of time. And if you're working with another girl and you're not splitting commission, like you've got to get to every single person that you can get. Because I didn't get paid like a set rate or anything. I only got 10% of what I sold. And so I had to hustle. And so you've got a certain amount of time to sell tickets. And then after that, you go to the live auction and you Vanna White everything. And then sometimes they want you to pull tickets. Sometimes they're like, no, you're fine. They know you have a long drive. They're like, you can go, get out of here. But then some people are like, no, you're making whatever. You're going to pull these tickets, lady. But
So you got paid hourly to be there, and then
no. I only
commission.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they had
Sell it, girl.
There was like a minimum, but I don't even know what the minimum was, like 100 or 200 or something like that. But I got 10%. But then I had to give 15% of what I made to my boss. So that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But now I'm freelance, and so I just work those 2 banquets a year, and
Get to keep your commission.
There you go.
Good for you.
yep. Yeah.
That's awesome. I always wondered how that worked. I think you had told me bits and pieces over the years and some funny stories and stuff, but that's a lot. So do you do anything else aside from that now? Or are you just doing those things?
I literally only do spray tans.
Good for you.
That is it. And like when I, when I first started, going full force into this and like pushing and everything, I was working at Express, I was doing banquets, and I was doing the spray tans. And so I was always working. And when it was at my house, because I was doing so many mobile, I was like, I've got to do something in like one area. And so I had that rent house, and I just put it in there, and I would still do mobile, but I gave the option. I'm like, look, I don't have any time to come to you, but you can come to my house or whatever. And so, I mean, it gave me no boundaries though, because if you
Work
would
was
text,
home.
if you would text me,
I know.
and
You're
be like,
I
you
can
need a
spray you in
tan.
15 minutes. Come on, girl.
Yeah, but there's some people that, got off work late. I remember I would go do a banquet and then come home, and I would do spray tans at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I got you. Goodbye. Good night. But so once I came to Express and started working there full time, I set a schedule, and now like I am.
I know. I remember asking for like a Saturday spray tan. You were like, I don't spray on Saturdays anymore.
Nope.
I was like, what? You've like sprayed me at like 9 o'clock on a Saturday night before. You're
Shut it down. Saturdays and Sundays, you're like, no. The only time I will do a Saturday and Sunday is if it's abroad and they're getting married on a certain day and they message me last minute.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But my brides are like my favorite. They like bridal is like my absolute favorite. So I kind of like will cater to them. But I remember when I was at home, I had a whole bunch of tans one day, and the electricity went out, and I was like, oh no, did I not pay the bill? What happened? So I'm like on my app, checking. I was like, no, it's paid. What's happening? A car had hit like one of our lines and shut out all the electricity on our street. Well, Express hadn't opened yet. It was getting close, but I called and I was like, can I come up there and I just pop up my tent in a room? And so I went in one of the rooms, it was literally my tent and my gun, and I had sprayed a few new people. They were probably like, what the hell is this is so lovely, thank you so much. Yay. And then after I did that, I didn't go back to my house. I was like, okay, I'm not even taking you back over there, like we're staying here. And I just have not looked back. But everybody wants tans for the weekend. Nobody ever wants.
That's true.
So that's the main reason I don't work on Saturdays and Sundays. But I will work like right now. It's like till 6:30. I made like a poll on Instagram a couple months ago. So during summer, I'll probably go from like 12 to probably 7 or 12 to 8 because everybody does like them after work or whatever. So that will most likely be my hours. Maybe.
But you get to make your own hours. That's the fun part, right?
Yeah, it may be only on Thursdays. Probably only Thursdays. I'll probably work till 8, and then the rest of the time do like 6:30, because I still want to make my nephews games and stuff when I can. They literally do everything: basketball, football, baseball.
That's so fun that you get to be so involved.
I try. My mom and my dad were really, really involved when we were little. I didn't know that parents didn't go to everything because my parents were so fantastic at stuff. I mean, they started a 4-H group for us like when, let's see, 4th grade. Was it 4th grade? I remember like my first year I did bunnies, my second year I did goats, and they're like, oh, she's just a little girl. Like they give her the leftover goats. And so my mom, like, she was like, we're gonna be better. We are gonna, start a 4-H group, and we're gonna like help everybody. And so it was that was probably like the funnest time of my life, because we ended up having the biggest 4-H group in the county.
Oh wow.
And
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I got grand champion and reserve champion on those 2 BS goats
Good
that
job,
year.
sis.
That does not surprise me. I feel like one of the things I admire so much about you is everything I've ever seen you do, you like lock in
Yeah.
and you go.
I was going to say, just sitting, I mean, I met you just a little, like when you walked up here today, and I can tell that you're one of those people that whatever you're given, you're going to make stars out of it.
I try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so what, like, why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess because, I guess back to my parents, their work ethic is, my dad, he's kind of gotten lazy in his old age, but growing up, he worked at Kelly Springfield when that was going, and then he would come home and, we've got a farm, and so he would go work that. My mom, she was working on the farm, and then Piggy's Barbecue was there, and then when my parents got divorced, that's when I really, I guess, saw like my mom's work ethic. Now as an adult, like seeing like she was doing it. Like I respect her so much. Let's see, we moved to Athens. She started working for the post office then. I feel like she was doing something else too, but she was always working and she would, like, if she wanted something done, like she would figure it out herself. Like she just really, like, just when you imagine like a like independent person, like it's my mom. And so I think I've like developed a lot of her traits.
Yeah.
More than I like to admit. But it's fine. She's great.
That's awesome. One of the other things I love to see about you with your business is how much you collaborate with other entrepreneurs, especially like on Instagram and social media. I'm always seeing you do some kind of promotion to help promote other people and work with other people.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Kind of what started that is when I was back to 2020, when I was trying to like grow on my Instagram. I was like, okay, well, if I can get all these other people that have followers and us to do just a big giveaway, like, then I can get exposure that way. And so, and we, like, the first one I did, it was great. We did, like, Botox and filler, and we did, microblading, facials. I mean, there was just a ton of stuff. And so it was, like, just a really good... it was a really good giveaway. Like I remember
one person got all of those things, like
all
a big
of
package.
It.
Okay.
Wow. All of it.
Yeah.
And our first girl that got it, I remember I was so excited that she got it. And now, she messaged me a while later and she was like, thank you so much for that. Like, this is like giving me like so much confidence. Like since then she's got a nose job. She's got like other things or whatever. She is like just changed her life just from that. Like
the giveaway kind of sparked it.
Giveaway. Yeah. And so like I haven't done any in probably like 2 years, honestly. But we were doing them.
Yeah, I did one of them with you where I gave some of my supplements away as a part of one of your giveaways. But I just thought it was so ingenious of you to say, okay, we're all trying to grow here. Let's figure out how we can give something back to someone, bless them, and also like build each other up at the same time.
Yes, I'm very big on like people supporting people, like super, super big on that. Just because like I want people to do that for me, so I want to do it for as many people as I can.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm like constantly tagging everybody and like trying to like.
But you also do really fun content too. Like tell us your socials because people are going to want to go watch your reels because they're just so funny. You're clever.
I wish I had more time to do all of the things that I want to do, but honestly, most of the time I look like crap.
No, you don't.
And so like I don't ever like want to like do a video when I look like I've rolled out of bed. But let's see, it's just Gypsy Glow Tanning, Instagram, and then I got Facebook. I don't have the Twitter. I never got
Twitter.
Whatever it is now.
Yeah, and then they've got that other one. What is it? Threads or something?
Eh.
I don't understand that
I don't
either.
think it does.
I've tried and I just don't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not part of my thing.
Yeah, like Instagram is so
I love
easy for me. Like I just and I like to stick to what I know. I don't like to venture off on unknown territory, and so that's just where I like to be there. This year I'm really, really, really trying to expand, and I want to go to every event that I can. That's like my goal for 2024.
We all are both focused on weddings this year. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Ashley wants to do more wedding photography.
Listen, I just found out yesterday because, so spray tans always get left out of tags. Always.
Oh, I bet.
What do you mean? What kind of tag?
So like when in the wedding stuff, if the makeup artist, the photographer, anybody, they tag, I always get left out. And it's not just me. It's literally that way across the board. There was this girl, and I would die if this was me, but she did a client who was in People magazine, and she named every single person that was involved in her beauty day except the spray tan artist. I don't know if it's like because there used to be such like a stigma, like getting a spray tan, like you'll be orange or this, or like you don't want to know, like you're fine to fake everything else except your spray tan. Like I don't know. But we always get left out. Well, me like trying to be more involved in stuff this year, I reached out to this one girl. I was like, look, next time you're doing like one of your little things, like I want to be involved. Yeah. And so she reached out to me and she was like, okay. And I was like, yes, I'm in. Like, I'm in the promo shoot. Got one. Yeah. Well, she sent me a vendor list for people to tag for like this wedding. I'm like, is this how people know? Is this how everybody's getting tagged? This vendor list? No, but I'm not there the day of. So nobody knows to tag me. But I'm like, I am the sauce, you guys. I'm the base of everything else that's happening.
Yeah. Well,
I want to be included.
I'm trying to think the best way to do that, because it kind of, so much of it stems from the photographer and what they post.
Could you show up day of? I mean, depending on.
But I do so many brides a week, though. Like, I do
You
at
need
least 5 brides a week, at least.
What you need to do is you need to send literature, whatever that looks like, with the bride and say, hey, will you please give this to your photographer so they can add me to their list of vendors, and just flat out say it.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I'm always like a creepy person at like on the next week, seeing everybody's stuff.
Let's just take a moment, why don't we? Because I experience this often enough. Like, anybody that does anything for you, spray tan, your makeup, your hair, your photography, tag them. This is how they get business. It kills me. Like, you know, and most people, they're well-meaning. They don't understand. They don't know that is literally how we get the next job sometimes, is because you posted your photos or you posted about this experience and they're like, oh, wow, okay, well, I trust you, so I'm going to go get them. Like, just this week, somebody posted a photo shoot and I am nowhere on there. And I'm like, now listen.
Yeah.
We don't do that, people. And I don't even say that just for me. I've seen people post like their photo shoots or whatever and not tag the photographer, and I'm like, that's not right. Don't do that. You tag your artist, whoever and however they fixed you up.
It's your work. Like,
yes, you tag them. And that's just etiquette.
And
so
me, like, I feel like we like bond so much in our little 20 minutes that we're together. I'm like,
it's pretty intimate.
It hurts your feelings, doesn't it?
It does a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
Because I want to see, like, I want to see you dressed up. Because nobody really comes. There's a couple of them.
We laugh about this. I walk in there looking like a bum. Every time I walk into Express, I am pale. My hair is usually wet under a hat, and I'm wearing black loose clothing, and I may or may not have a bra on.
I never know anybody when they're dressed up. Just because I see everybody at their absolute worst, if you're dressed up and I see you, but I don't recognize you, I'm sorry.
See, and for me, it's the opposite, because when I see people with no makeup and they're dressed down, I'm like, oh, because if they come to a photo shoot, they're pretty jazzed up. But yeah, and I think that's your answer, because I guarantee you it's just they don't realize that that's like part of the etiquette and part of what they should be doing. So you hand them something and say, please give this to your photographer so they can add me to the list of vendors.
That's good. I am going to do that. Good tip. Thank you.
And just comment on my photos and go, girl, your spray tan looks good. And then,
man. So since I never see anybody tan, when like I saw you tan the other day, I get so creepy, man. I just
She was like, she was looking at me. She's looking to see her ankles.
Like, I never see anybody post like tan. I just stare. I'm like, man, you look fantastic.
It wasn't creepy. It was actually really, I was like, I feel so good. She thinks I look pretty.
Well, so I was in my friend Callie in her wedding when I was in October, November, and one of the bridesmaids never met her, tanned her, and then later we're all getting ready and I am staring. Like, she's probably uncomfortable because I'm just checking her legs out. I'm I'm literally checking her out. And I had to tell her later, I was like, look, I'm so sorry.
I'm not giving you the girl up down. I'm literally just checking the details.
Like, I never see anybody tan. I never see like my work afterwards. Like, because when I tan me, it's horrible. So like, when I tan other people, I'm like, what do your hands look like? What does this look like? Okay, you look great.
You're welcome.
I get compliments every time, Sami. And there have been a couple of times over the years where you've been out of town or whatever, weren't available, where I've done like a booth tan or something. Oh my gosh. I went on a cruise a couple years ago and I did a booth tan at Crunch because I had a membership there.
Yeah.
And it was the absolute worst. I felt like an Oompa Loompa for a week and I was miserable and I couldn't like really get it off of me in a good way either. So I was like, because
I've taught you to prep your skin so well.
You have.
Yes.
You have. I was telling Ashley about that beforehand. I was like, so Sami does such a good job of like setting me up beforehand. There's like a process. So if you're going to do all the things, like if you're a bride or if you've got an event or whatever, you've got to get like your pedicure and your nails and all done first because you want your skin exfoliated and you've got to shave a certain time and like, don't put lotion on. And like, she's got an incredible document that she will send you.
I got so sick of telling everybody the same thing over and over. I was like, here is the list. You're signing it, so I know you've read it.
Good, yeah.
And
so you're not going to get a phone call. Why does it look like this?
Yes, because like I can do like such a good job, but then once you leave, you're on your own. And if you do anything wrong, like product, like all the things, like
there are certain soaps that'll mess with your
like
make it
Dove
come off faster.
Dove people is so bad for a spray tan. So bad.
And I think you told me Bath and Body Works too. Like those
it has
were two
a really
of them
like high alcohol content in it, and so it's really drying you out. It smells fantastic, but it's not doing nothing good for you.
Yeah,
like
But
Dove is so thick, it like acts as a barrier for your spray tan. So like
when that washes off, so will the tan. Okay.
Yeah. I've never done a booth tan. I'm terrified of them. But
have you seen that episode of Friends?
Yes.
With Ross?
This is why I was bad at math, because they didn't like really walk me through the steps. They just told me what it was. And if somebody's telling me something, it's in one ear out the other. I don't know.
Good to know.
And this is why I think I like when you get a tan with me, how I'm showing you exactly what to do. I'm not just telling you do this. But the booth tans, so like it is the same solution for everybody. When it gives you like a light, medium, dark option, they're just spraying you like honestly thicker. It's not changing. Like you got to know like color theory. Like I mix something on you that's different than I do like Susie
or Ashley
over here. Yeah. Like everybody is getting a custom mix, and those booth solutions are diluted, so that's why they don't last as long. It's why it's turning you orange, like, and they spray everybody the same.
So like, I had somebody ask me the other day. I was at an event and I had some cards for you, and so I was showing them, and they were like, does this like undertone of like a like purple or a green or something? I was like, it is not orange. Yes, she like custom will take care of your skin. Yes.
Yeah. Because I usually make everybody
always look so natural.
I'm like, show me your stomach. Like, because that's the area that doesn't see the sun the most. So I'm like, let me see your stomach.
Yeah. And then you can adjust.
But like same with like with older ladies, if they go get a spray tan in a booth, their knees, for example, we're just standing straight up. Like with me, I can have, or like bigger girls or whatever, or big chest, like I can have them move and adjust to where I can get everything in that booth. You're just like front and back. There you go. You're done. Get out. So
I love it. I love that it's customized and you can adjust to the person's body and make them feel beautiful.
I've wanted to go do a booth tan and like bring like a ring light up there and like post and like prop it up and like record the process of me getting it done. But I probably won't ever. 'Cause But like my friend, she lived in Fort Worth and I was living here and she got a booth tan and I tanned myself the day before and her wrist the next day, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's weird where like the creases in your skin or where you have like some dryness that you don't realize that you do when you're in a booth tan, like how it reacts. And that was one of the places I noticed it was on my wrist and my ankles. And I forget where else, but it was just like, and it wasn't bad from afar. Like in pictures, if it was far away or whatever, but when I was looking down at my skin, I could see the difference because I've been spoiled by going to you for so many years.
So like underneath here is lighter, like under our arms are lighter and our skin is more thin there. So I have to spray y'all very light there versus a booth. They're like, here it is, take it all. And like feet, I don't spray anybody's feet.
Because it falls onto your feet naturally, right?
Yeah, and that booth is just...
Oh, it's dark. It's dark. Yeah, it's bad. You're so right.
Yeah, I've seen the afters, but I've never experienced it, and I don't want to.
I don't think you need to.
Thank you for sharing. Like, I love hearing, different entrepreneurs' journeys and like where they're at and all of that. We have a list of questions that we like to ask everybody.
Okay.
So, what is your coffee order?
Oh, okay. Listen, I never finish a coffee.
Well, that's okay.
But she starts them.
I start every one of them. But I don't know if it's just like the stigma of like having a coffee.
It's like it's a comfort thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Or I don't know who are these people influencing me to buy coffee because I don't really need it.
So you're like, I got enough energy on my own.
I always go for like the brown sugar cinnamony stuff. Starbucks, it's got the brown sugar shaken espresso, and then Crema. They've got their Valentine's menu out right now, and they have one called the Bougie.
Ooh.
It's delicious.
Maybe we should all go. I want to try that.
They have a drive-through too.
Do they?
Yep. What about cocktail? What's your favorite cocktail?
I don't really drink.
Okay.
Like I've never been a huge drinker. I don't like the way it makes me feel.
Yeah, that's the best reason to not.
Yeah.
I wish that I didn't.
Yeah.
So if I like do go out, I just like it's the tipsy part I think I don't like. I just that whole middle ground. I'll just go straight to shots and just go balls to the wall. Just go right over there. So if shots, I guess, would be my cocktail choice. But most of the time, I am like, oh, Sami, no.
That's fantastic. I think that's one of my favorite answers. Just, just cut straight through that crap and go straight for shots.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and I don't know anything. And so I think this honestly gets on, on their nerves, on bartenders' nerves, because I'm like, surprise me. And they're like, son of a...
Yeah, no, just tell me what you want.
Yeah. Don't do that to me.
So tell me this, because I know you like to travel like I do. You're a travel bug. If we were to give you a ticket, like pay for all expense paid trip, wherever you want to go in the world.
Either Norway or Iceland, because this year the Northern Lights are at their brightest.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So we're trying to plan a trip at the end of the year, but I got to get my passport renewed.
Do it now.
Which it gives me anxiety because I did it like 10 years ago, and then it's something new and out of my comfort zone. I'm like, how do I do it? And then I started looking online, and I get mixed reviews, like, you have to renew online, and then some of them are like, you have to come in person, but it wants me to put my social security in there, and I'm like, do I trust you? Do I
You
not?
can do it online, especially if you're not planning to travel for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have plenty of time. Just make it easy on yourself.
Which it drives me crazy that my passport doesn't expire until March, but you can't travel within 6 months of that.
Yes.
Why not make the day the day?
Yeah,
I know.
That's true.
It's a thing. I think it's in case you get stuck in another country is
What
the
am I-
deal.
for 6 months?
Yeah, like if some crazy medical problem happened, you were in an accident or unconscious or whatever. I don't know.
Okay,
That's my
that-
assumption is that would be what it is, and then you can't get home, and then you're at the embassy, and I don't know. There's a movie
but
there.
if I've been in if I traveled
Let's
to
write a movie.
another
Let's
country
do it.
and I was in a coma and my thing expired, they can be like, ma'am, you've been in a coma. We understand. Get on the plane. Like,
Celebrating women.
You would think.
Now in motion picture, Sammy goes to Norway.
If I go get in a coma, like next time I'm on vacation,
No, it's
or
not gonna happen.
anytime,
No,
I'm gonna wake up and be like, Mandee.
We think her name is Mandee because she keeps saying Mandee.
I'm telling you, there's a movie in there somewhere. It's like a bad Lifetime movie, but it's in there somewhere. Oh my gosh, you are so fun. I love you so much.
Me too.
I'm so glad that manicure happened so many years ago.
I know. Were you going to Belladonna before?
I was. I had an endorsement deal there.
Flip.
With the radio station.
Oh,
and
really?
So yeah, for years. And that's how I got introduced there. Was I met Angela because I did some endorsement stuff for them, and then I liked all of you so much that I just kept coming back as a customer. And that's truly like when I would
Belladonna
endorse
was
things.
great.
That was, and it's like that with Hand and Stone and the podcast now. Like, I mean, they're our sponsor, but it's because I love them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm there all the time. I'm a paying customer.
They
like,
have like the coconut water, right?
they do have the coconut water.
Yeah.
It's good. Pineapple coconut or something like that.
It's
I don't know.
delicious.
It's delicious.
Tasty.
It is. Well, I could have you here all day. I could have you here for hours. Come back anytime. You're amazing, and I love you.
I will. This is fun.
Yay.
The Celebrating Women podcast wants to hear from you. Email us a voice message to celebratingwomenpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear your story or the story of an incredible woman you know. Become part of the conversation on social media. Facebook.com/celebratingwomenpodcast. On Instagram, search Celebrating Women Podcast. The Celebrating Women podcast has been presented by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, Texas. Book your appointment today. Stop by the spa in Cumberland Shopping Center or online at handandstonetyler.com. The Celebrating Women podcast is created and hosted by Mandee Montana and Ashley Fisher. Support the show for as little as $3 per month at celebratingwomenpodcast.buzzsprout.com or visit our show notes. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to the Celebrating Women podcast.